हेलो बच्चों, कैसे हैं आप सब। आई होप हम सब बहुत अच्छे होंगे, हम सब बहुत खुश होंगे और बहुत मज़े में होंगे क्योंकि छुट्टियां चल रही हैं। लेकिन आज मैं अपना जो एक टॉपिक रह गया था मेरा ग्रेड 7 का, मैं आज उसको फिनिश कर दूंगी। ठीक है, तो the topic that was left was replenishment of nutrients in the soil. Okay, now we all know, even at our homes also, if we are planting few plants in our balcony, then also in a span of few days we are giving them some fertilizers or some manure or vermicompost. So why do we do that? What exactly are we doing, or why do we require that, and why aren't we giving it daily? Yes, so that is the question. This happens because the plants, they take in the nutrition from the soil. Yes, whatever nutrition is dissolved in the soil and water, both of them, right? So they take it in from the soil, all the minerals or the nutrients the plants, they take in from the soil. Now what happens, because the plants, they have exhausted it, they have utilized it, so over a span of time all the nutrients in the soil, they are depleted, they are finished, they are over. So what do we need to do is we need to recharge the soil again with these nutrients, right? So replenishment means basically recharging the soil with the nutrients. Okay, so we always give the plants some nutrients, some some manure, some vermicompost, etc., to make them fertile, to so that the plants, they can grow well, they can be healthy. Yes, so now what nutrients do we give them? We all might have heard in our homes that NPK, this is a fertilizer that our mothers use, sometimes NPK 19 19 19 or NPK 21 21 21, etc., or sometimes vermicompost. Yes, or sometimes homemade compost or manure, right? Sometimes even some animal dung is also converted into manure and then it is given to the plants. So why do we exactly do this? What does this NPK, then this vermicompost or this manure contain that is good for the plants? Yes, so what exactly does it contain? So one basic nutrient that it contains is nitrogen. Here this N means nitrogen, right? This P means phosphorus, and this K is for potassium. Okay, so these are few nutrients that are given to the plant. So today we will discuss how exactly the soil is replenished by some other method also. So what happens, like we all have studied that there is a symbiotic relationship between the rhizobium bacteria and the leguminous plants. Yes, in the rhizobium, in the root nodules of the leguminous plants, the rhizobium bacteria stays. Yes, so we have studied this in symbiosis, right? So when we talk about symbiosis, one thing that comes to our mind is rhizobium, because we have talked about it in the previous videos as well. So if you want to check what exactly did we discuss about rhizobium in the previous videos, I'll provide the link in the description box. Please check it out over there. Yes, so what happens that in the leguminous plants, in the root nodules of the leguminous plants, this rhizobium bacteria, it stays, and whatever nitrogen is present in the surrounding, it fixes that nitrogen into absorbable form, because the nitrogen gas which is present in the surrounding, that cannot be absorbed by the plants. So this rhizobium bacteria, it fixes the nitrogen in the atmosphere, which is present in the atmosphere, into absorbable forms, and then the plants, they can take in the nitrogen, and then they can prepare the proteins out of it. Okay, so what happens, basically whatever nitrogen is there in the surrounding, that is converted into absorbable forms for the plants, right? So what happens is, because of this rhizobium bacteria, the soil which was deficient of nitrogen, right? Which did not contain nitrogen. Yes, that is then getting the nitrogen because of this rhizobium bacteria, because it fixes the nitrogen. Yes, so this is one way by which the soil is replenished, or by which the soil is recharged by the nitrogen nutrient. Okay, so there is one very frequently asked question, like why the farmers who cultivate leguminous plants. Leguminous plants means plants which give us legumes or pulses, right? Farmers who cultivate leguminous plants do not supply the soil with nitrogen fertilizer or nitrogenous fertilizer. Yes? Why? This is a very frequent asked question. Why is it that they do not, give nitrogenous fertilizer to their in their fields? Why do they not put nitrogenous fertilizer in their field? Because these, in the root nodules of the leguminous plants, rhizobium stays. Yes, so I am giving you some keywords to answer this question. One is rhizobium bacteria. It stays in the root nodules. Of the leguminous plants. Then what it does? There is symbiotic relationship. So this word also has to come in your answer. Yes? Symbiotic relationship between what? Between the leguminous plant and the rhizobium bacteria. So there is symbiotic relationship between the leguminous plant and the rhizobium bacteria. And what else? The rhizobium bacteria, it fixes the nitrogen. Rhizobium fixes the atmospheric nitrogen. And what it does? It converts it into absorbable form of nitrogen. Yes? Or usable form of nitrogen for plants. Usable form of nitrogen for plants, and thus as the soil is again rich with nitrogen, so the farmers, they do not supply their fields with the nitrogenous fertilizer or the nitrogen fertilizer. Understood? Now, so what are the ways to replenish the soil? So one is to supply soil with chemical fertilizers, like example can be NPK or some other fertilizers, urea, etc., etc. Yes, and the second method is crop rotation. Yes, so in this method of crop rotation, what is done is that once some wheat, etc. is grown, and the next time some leguminous plant is grown. right? So when wheat is grown, at that time the soil will be already rich with nitrogen, but as wheat would have taken up the nitrogen or the nutrients from the soil, then next time what will happen, we'll grow the leguminous plant. So when we are growing the leguminous plant, then the rhizobium bacteria is supplying the soil again with the nitrogen, so the soil is replenished, or the soil is then recharged again with the nitrogen. So there are two methods of providing replenishment of nutrients in the soil. One is supplying the fertilizers or manure or vermicompost, etc., etc., and the second method is the crop rotation. I hope we understood well. If there is any question, any doubt, please mention in the comment section. I'll be very happy to answer that. Thank you so much. Have a very good day.